everyone. I welcome all the professors and resource person on behalf of Department of Management Studies, Jain College. Let's start this program with the psychological sayings that when you focus on problems, you will have more problems. When you focus on possibilities, you will have more opportunities. Now, I would like to call upon Mr. Halini to give a small introduction about our college.
Thank you, Blessy. Good afternoon, one and all. Education is the most powerful weapon which we can use to change the world by Nelson Mandela. Narmadha A Jain College was established in the year 1972 with a vision of transformation of human mind and creation of new culture that has a patience for rules, laws, code of conduct, moral values, natural courtesy, and human dignity. Our college barriers are President Dayachan Savanshuka, Secretary Administration, Dr. Harishal Mehta, Secretary Academic and Finance, Jashwant Munod. Our college features. Our college has 49 years of excellence in education, proven leadership with vision and integrity. It's an autonomous institution with a curriculum as per industry's needs. It offers 12 UG programs and 6 PG programs, also research programs in MPhil, PhD in Commerce, Corporate Secretaryship, Mathematics, and Physical Education. Also, college has a well-qualified and experienced faculty team, and it offers lowest fee structure and free communication training for interested students. Various clubs like EDC, APJ Club, Women's Empowerment Cell, etc. has been established to enhance the leadership skills of the students. Our college has a very good sports team and has won many laurels to the institution. Institution has effective tie-up with industries, corporate bodies, professional bodies like TCS, CTS, ICAI, ICSI, CMA, and share trading agencies, etc., for students' employability enhancement and enrichment. In addition to general courses, the college also offers some value-added courses. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Blessing.
Now I request our department head, Dr. A. Narmadha, to deliver the welcome address and introduction of our resource person.
Thank you, Blessy. Very good evening, one and all present here. On behalf of Department of Management Studies of the DBJain College, I extended warm welcome our resource person, Teachers-Eswari Andiappan, and most valued invited participants from various colleges. First of all, I would like to convey my sincere thanks to our Management President, Sri R. Dayantan Savansuka, Secretary Dr. Harishal Mehta, Finance Secretary Jaswant Munod, respected Principal Dr. M. Sendil Raj, and Professor in Charge Dr. M. Saktivel Murugan for their valuable guidance and encouragement in all our efforts. I have an immense pleasure to introduce our resource person, Iron Lady Teachers-Eswari Andiappan. She is the first woman who finished the triathlon in Indian soil. She is a multidisciplinary woman. She completed engineering in Shastra University in electronic and instrumentation. She has also completed MBA in human resource management. After 10 years of break, she completed PG Diploma in management in special education in multiple disability, followed by M.Sc psychology. Now she finished a diploma in sports nutrition. On Professor, she is the project manager in an IT company and heading a global team on cloud-based app. She is also doing curriculum and concept developer in Sparrow Kids group of schools. She is also founder and counselor in Shreena Professional Counselling and Learning Center. Once again, I welcome you ma'am, for this wonderful session.
Thank you, ma'am. I now request our resource person to take over the session.
Good evening, one and all. Hope I'm audible.
Yes,
ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So, thank you so much for this evening. And what I have heard from my professors and from my historical information is time is the best gift that one can give to anybody. So you all have given me a couple of minutes of your lifetime, which is so beautiful and memorable for me. So I would want to make the best use of this time and give you some information on what I have learned and how my learning can help you in your education profession and on the education of the children and the students whom you are going to take them to the world. Okay, not wasting much of your time. I'm just getting into the topic, and on the way, I will be introducing my own self on what I'm good at and why I'm here. So, the topic that I have taken here is walk into an adolescent's brain, a professor's point of view. And this is not something that I have taken it on my own. I had a discussion with a couple of professors and couple of students who are in the journey of their bachelor degree or the master's degree. And this is something that impresses me in getting a deeper dive, because this is where a boy or a girl turns into a man or a woman and gets into this life of a complete adulthood and taking their life forward. Okay, as Narmadha ma'am and others introduced, I'm S.Wari Andiappan. And before I get into an introduction, I would like to thank Jain College and the management people and Mrs. Narmadha A, the HOD of the Management Studies, the Accounts Department. So thanks for inviting here. So, who am I here to give you this information? I am a project manager in an IT company, and I'm a learning concept developer in Sparrow Kids group of school, and I'm also a counselor in the same school for the parents and for the children on their learning abilities. And I'm also counselor in Shreena Professional Counselling and Learning Center. So this is the profession that I come up with, and my educational qualification is versatile. I am a jack of many trades, because I have designed my career and I have designed my education around the needs of my family, which defines me the best. So who am I? I am a mother of 2 children, and this is the best. This is the best ever way that I can explain myself. This is how I have built my educational career. And I have done my engineering in electronics and instrumentation in Sastra University. And I've done my MBA in HR in the Madurai Kamarajar University. Followed by that, I took a 10 years of break, and I was just taking care of my children, and I was just going through the way of the life that would take me a normal life, where I would just go take care of my kids, and I would just do my 9 to 6 official job, and I was just going. And life has given me a chance to get into the PG Diploma on multiple disability. This is about 36 disabilities that any children or any adults or anybody for that matter that they would go through. And I've done a diploma to specialize on that multiple disability. Followed by that, I found that there is a need for me to take up this to the core, because the multiple disability stream only gave me the top level information of what it is, but I would want to get a deeper dive into this, and got into psychology. And yes, I'm an engineer with a psychology. So following that, I did a sports nutrition. That is something that I did for my passion. So coming back to who I am, I'm a mother of 2 children, and I'm a triathlete. And I'm not a sports person during my school days or during my college days. I've started this career of being a triathlete at the age of 34. That's where I started. And 36 is the age I started excelling in this. And I got my first title as the first woman to complete the Ironman distance, which is of 140.6 miles at one shot. I have to swim first for 3.8 kilometers, cycle for 180 kilometers. Followed by that, I have to run for 42.2 kilometers. And this is one Ironman distance. And this is what I've completed in the year of 2016 when I was 36. So in the process of getting my Ironman title, I also finished a Super Runner series. This is done in affiliation with the ADOLESCENCE Cycling Club. It is a France-based cycling club wherein in one ADOX year, I will have to complete 200 kilometers, 300, 400, 600 kilometers in a span of 4 months. This is a cycling event wherein we will start from Chennai, and there will be a destination given to us. For 200, it was given as Marakanam, and for 300, it was Milam, and 400, we went to Vellore, somewhere, Javadi Hills, and turned back. And for 600, I was pedaling from Chennai to Tiruchi Samayapuram and coming back. So this is the series that I completed to get this, earn this title. And I'm the fifth woman in Tamil Nadu to get this title of super runner. And of course, there are a lot of men who have covered this distance. And coming from the gender, I come from a women gender, so I got the fifth position in this stuff. And I am a green volunteer. I am more into waste management, recycling, upcycling, green, the terrace gardening, and forestation. These are something that I'm really, really inclined to. So, of all that, I support children with different abilities. It is not the neurotypical, which we call it as normal. It is the special children who are with special abilities. Maybe there are some abilities that they don't have, or there are some ability which we will have to develop in them. This is the area that I volunteer into. So this is a brief introduction about me. And Narmadha, I will just give you a note that I've started my timer. If at all I'm exceeding, you can let me know 5 minutes before so that I can just confine it to finish it on time.
Okay,
Thank you. And yeah, I'm getting into the deeper into the topic here. So adolescence. So I have given you the slide with some numbers. This early adolescence, the middle adolescence, the late adolescence. It starts from 10 years and finishing at 22. But we have heard that the adolescence is the teenagers, but it is really not. It actually starts from 10 years because of the modernization and because of the globalization, the diversity. The more the millennials, these days children are born with not born with the golden spoon or the silver spoon that we were told. They are born with the mobiles and the laptops. The millennials are equipped with all the equipments that we have been dreaming about. So the adolescence actually starts at the age of 10, and it does not end at 19. It just goes on till 22. So technically what I have put in here in the slide is the early adolescence between 10 to 13, the middle adolescence between 14 to 17, and the late adolescence is 18 to 22. This is where your students fall into, the late adolescence. So they are no different. They are an adolescent. Child, student, kid, however you call it. So what is adolescence? So, technically we have been talking about the age and all that stuff. But what is really adolescence? It is a beautiful terminology in itself. Take it from me, it is a beautiful terminology. Having said this, technically about the age from 10 till 22, let's take a deeper dive. It is a stage where a boy or a girl turns into a man or a woman. Yes, you heard that right. It is an intermediate stage where a boy or a girl turns into a man or a woman. So this is not a boy or a girl. This is not a man or a woman. This is an intermediate stage where they are developing. Adolescence is full of thrill seeking. It's full of memories. It's full of beautiful memories. It's full of problems. It's full of innovations, the creativity, the love, the teenage, the networking, the building their circle, sharing stories. They're making stories where they themselves are the only heroes and the heroines. So this is how pretty much I define an adolescent. It is full of life and it's full of beautiful memories. Okay, adolescence is a time of growth and maturation in the brain. If you take it simply just on a bookish way, that's how we take it. But brain is full of plastic. It can change, it can deform, it can take into any shape. Yes, it's plastic. Wherever you fill it, whatever you fill it, it changes. The brain changes every single moment. It changes by its inputs. It gets from the environment, Positively, negatively, neutrally, whatever you name it, the brain changes. It matures by age, it matures by experience, it matures by time, it matures by the environment and the exposure we give to them. Along with this, you professors and we psychologists are trying to give them a discipline and education, show them the career, show them a vision where these, whatever we are trying to give them, is not going to give them immediate outputs. But what they are into, the memories, the problems, innovations, creativity, love, networking, friend circle, the storytelling, all these are having an immediate impact where they can just see it. They just put a post on their Facebook or the Insta, they immediately get likes. But wherein what we say, we tell them, be disciplined, be career focused, be educate, get focus on your education. All these are going to give them an output only when they go out of the college. So we are trying to create a vision which is not available at this time, but they are in a world where the vision is already there. So brain is plastic. The adolescent's brain is a time of growth and maturation in the brain. Okay, this is pretty much a teenager's brain looks like. It's full of love. The frontal lobe is filled with love and addiction to the Facebook, addiction to Instas, the TVs, the body language, addiction to the other sex, the rebellion, the ego that I am the center of my story. I'm what I am. So whatever advices or whatever for vision that we are going to give them is all lying at the lower level, wherein the love, the addiction, the TVs, the medias, the egos, the friendship, the circle that they built, all these tops their brain. This is where we are going to work on. So our job is really beautiful than the teenager's life. Okay, we are trying to change something here. What are we going to change? Yeah, we have to change, but what? Change is easy? No. Let me start this with two of the famous quotes by Heraclitus and Benjamin Franklin. Change is the only constant, is what Heraclitus says. Change is the only constant in life. One's ability to adapt to these changes will determine their success in life. This is what Benjamin Franklin says. Okay, these are the words that are that the famous people have told us. But change is easy? Big question. It's $1 million question. Okay, let's make use of the current scenario, the pandemic. It's a corona dollar question. Yeah. What are we going to change? Who are we going to change here? A big question, a corona dollar question. I'm moving on to the next slide. So what are we going to change? When I say change, what are we going to change? Are we going to change the curriculum? Are we going to change the syllabus? Are we going to change the culture, student, this, that? Oh my God. Curriculum, syllabus, culture, student, these are existing for years long. This is not the area that we can work on immediately. These needs a lot of support from a lot of different areas. This needs support from the government, from the forefathers of the education, from the educational board. This, that, there are lots of things that needs an approval. But what can we change at this time? Yes, there is a change possible. Leaving that question as it is, I'm moving on to the next thing, next stuff, where I'm trying to explain about Howard Gardner's multiple intelligence. So what Howard Gardner says, this is something that we follow right from the preschoolers at the age of 2.5 years. So I would like to reiterate it here because this is what we are trying to put it into the curriculum of the 2.5 years is going to really take into shape. So I'm just briefly running through this. A bodily kinesthetic is a person who is body smart. An interpersonal person is a people smart who is like, come, let's do it. You just give them a task, they will be able to gather a group of people and they're just able to move on. And verbal, linguistic student who is a word smart student. Anything you give them by word, by vocal, or by book, they will be able to grasp it right away. The logic based, the mathematical, the logic smart, the number smart student, any number you give them, any figures you give them, they will be able to tackle it within seconds. Wherein we will just use a calculator, we'll just type in, and we'll make a big flow chart to get that answer. But wherein within a matter of seconds, they'll be able to get that stuff. A naturalist who is a nature specific person, nature specific student. And I'm moving on to the next one, which is the interpersonal, the self smart. So they are smart by themselves. They don't need external interferences on that. Visually smart, which is a picture smart student. And I'm moving on to the next one, is a musical smart. So these doesn't need much of the explanation. So a student or a person of any age group should fall into any of this one sector majorly, and rest of the section or rest of it on step-by-step process. If you take me, I'm number smart, I'm nature smart, I'm smell smart, I'm a people smart, but my expertise falls on the logic smart, the number smart. And I also fall into the rest of the stuff. But if you take me on the picture, you want me to take a selfie, oh my God, that will be the worst selfie that you will ever get. And I'm zero on music. And I do a lot of miracles to get my word smart abilities. This way, every person is so good, it's super good at one topic, one of this intelligence. And they have a secondary intelligence level wherein for me it is nature, self, and the people smart and the word smart. So this way, every single student, every single person has their intelligence in this sector. So this is what Howard Gardner says. So we have to identify our students, what they are smart at. I'm moving to the next slide, wherein I will be explaining a little more on this multiple intelligence there as well. Okay, and our question still remains as who to change and what to change and how to change. Okay, and we are trying to find an answer, and this is what is the theory that I'm giving you. The learning pyramid. The current method of lecture-based curriculum, academics delivery, reaches only 5%. I'm sorry to say this, yes, it reaches only 5% of the students who are word smart. Reading, the self-reading, helps 10% of the students. The audio-visual way of learning, you put them a presentation, you give them a YouTube link, you tell them that you go to Google and search, find out this, they will be super smart to just get there and get the information up. Demonstration. You put them apart, you give them the realistic environment and ask them to set it up. 30% of the students will learn in this. Discussion. This is where 50% of the students get their smartness in. So you put them into different groups, make them interact with each other. Then be telling them when a student of their own age discusses a similar topic, they would be able to understand better. And the 75% comes in practice and doing, where they realistically get into the job and do it. 90% of the students fall under this teach others category. When you tell a student, go read it by yourself, they won't do it. Can you read it and explain it here so that the rest of the students will also learn it? Yes, every other student will go take their book, read, and develop their concept and try to deliver it. So this is a learning pyramid. So what works here is teach others. When we say it is for you, they don't take it. When we say that, can we all do it together? When you lead it, then you lecture it, when you lead it, 90% comes along with you. This is the student average retention rates. Okay, what's in our control now? The ways we teach, the ways we adopt to teach is what under our control. Yes, the ways we teach the students and the ways we adopt to teach them is what is under our control. Okay, so we have said that the ways we teach the student and ways we adopt to teach the student. So are we going to change something on the curriculum when we say ways to teach? No. The curriculum remains as it is. The syllabus remains as it is. The student remains as it is. Their environment remains as it is. Everything is as it is. But what we are going to do, is we are going to make somebody else responsible for this teaching. The ways we adopt to teach our students. And this is where the objective really falls into the balance between student and professor. I'm reiterating few words here. Adolescent is a thrill seeking, is making beautiful memories. The problems is full of innovations, is full of creativity, is full of love, it's full of networking, building circles for their own stories. They are the center of their own stories. They are the universe. Because we say that there is a storytelling age. When they are small, till 10 years, they will talk about what happened in the environment. She did this, that girl did this boy did this. Mom, you didn't give me this, brother took away this. This is the story that they form into. But after 10 till 20, the stories that they form is about themselves, what they go through, what they want, what they feel, what they dream about. This is the story that they're creating. And they are the center of the story. They are the heroes and heroines of the story. Okay. And I'm reiterating a little on the brain. Yes, the brain is so plastic. It matures by what it sees on the environment, the exposure. It matures by age, experience, the time that we give them. So whatever we are going to tell them, we are going to teach them is going to have a visionary view. What they are currently having is an experiential view where they can on real time, they can experience and feel, touch that experience. But education, discipline, career is all something that's going to come after 2-3 years. So the $1 crore question, the $1 million question of what to change, the 70-30 ways of teaching the students. This is a method that I would suggest to the professors here. Yes, what we are trying to teach our students, the academics, is all well designed. It is all well designed, proofread, and lots of professors and students, lots of batches have already gone through all that material. And these are really put into place now. So these materials are really old, but we cannot change the curriculum. We cannot change the syllabus. We have to go through the basics. Only that basics is going to lay a lot of upscale buildings on their career. But our millennials are born with the mobiles, are born with the laptop. Even before we tell them, they would have already gone through all these concepts. Okay, before I get into these 70-30, I would like to narrate a situation which happened at my home because I take a lot of real-time examples from my life. So there was a conversation between my father and my teenager who's 15 years and my father of early 60s. So what happened is my father was talking about playing cards, the Sudatam we call it in Tamil. So he was talking about the Sudatam is a sin and this is something that no one could ever do it. So this is something that we should avoid, and because the recent days due to this pandemic and due to this lockdown, there was Mahabharatam that was going on the TVs, and they were doing the Sudatam, and my father happened to. I'm just rushing through the story. If you want me to slow down, you can let me know. So after he's seeing the Sudatam, he commented that this is something really bad. We shouldn't be doing. It's just saying. My teenager who was 15 years old, those boys days it was playing cards, the Sudatam. But these days it is the mobile and the media that is putting us into this lot of trouble. So you have to replace it. And he walked off. And me, my mother, my father, everybody were looking at each other, seeing the growth of where the children are really going into. When a 15-year-old can talk like this, the 18-year-old who is sitting in front of you, who is making fun of you, who is making giggling at the classes, making fun of the other counterparts, who already knows a lot of information about it, who is a gifted child, who has a lot of information about what you're going to teach them, they will really test your patience. They will try to see what the teacher or the professor knows more than what I know. So they will try to prove that I know things. Why don't I prove it here? So let me try and ask questions where I put the person in the dais in trouble. Yes, these days students are capable of it because that is their knowledge. So, but we cannot go out of the academics. Academics is something that is the base building. If the basement is not strong, we cannot proceed forward. So the basement is equally important or more important what the millennials have in hands in terms of exposure. So whatever we are trying to teach them in terms of books, they already learnt it in terms of experience. So what we can really change here, instead of we going in there and standing there and giving them a lecture wherein only 5% of the students are really going to listen who are word smart, we can pull them into a conversation and make it a discussion, make it a group discussion, make it teach them to the other. So I'm going back on one slide. So than giving them on lecture, we can put them on the rest of the stuff, wherein you can form groups. I'm going one slide forward. So you can make groups. If you have a classroom of about 50 students, maybe, so you can form into maybe 10 groups or 5 groups, wherein there are only 5% of the students who are really word smart. So don't put all the word smarts in one group, rather split them and put it in all different groups. This way, find out the strength of the rest of the group and split them accordingly and put them, make form groups. And this is where your role really comes into. So you make the best group wherein one student is a word smart, one is logic smart, one is people smart, one is body smart, one is music smart, one is picture smart, one is self smart, and one is nature smart. Yes, I just ran through this circle. So your group need to have, I think one of the person has to go on mute. There are a lot of noise. Okay. Your group need to be, need to have a mixture of all these students. And then coming into this slide where we are going to give them a lecture, but it is not really we, the professors. We are going to facilitate, we formed a group where we told them that you go teach the students and I'm going to sit here and listen to what you're going to teach. Give them the responsibility. These days, most of the children are single child at home. So they do not have bonding with the other children at home, other kids at home. So the college is the place, the school is the place, or the college is the place where they get along, their counterparts to get along, they socialize, they make friends, they make a sisterhood, they make a brotherhood. So they're too very excited there. Their excitation need to be appreciated. At the same time, education and discipline need to be given. So let's make use of their collaboration. Let's make use of their knowledge and build it. Tell them, we are going to make this class at each other's class. Okay, so you are going to take this topic, give them 10 topics, wherein you feel that these are the basic topics that they would have already known. Rather, you reserve your own topics where they would just long for the professor to get on the dais and give them some lecture. Just make the scenario and then get onto the lecture of yours. Until then, give them an exposure of teach yourself. When you say teach yourself, they have to go through a lot of material and they would need the support of another person. Wherein a word smart student will not have an interpersonal skills. They will not get along with the other student. So when they get out of the college, until they are in college, they will be super smart. They will be shining. They will get 90% out of 100. But when they are getting into their career, they will be a dumb person. Wherein the interpersonal smart student, they'll be super cool on the interpersonal skills. Even if they just get the border marks and pass out, they would be super shining. Wherein when we make groups like this, they will start interacting. Without any choice, they will start interacting. So they will be able to practice. They will be able to discuss. They will be able to demonstrate internally within themselves. They will make an audio-visual presentation to present in front of the students. And they will read it once for their own self to present it for others. When a student does a class for their own student, there will be more curiosity to understand what is this batch going to do it for us. Name them Give different groups different names and start scoring them. That's where your job primarily lies. So after all this is done, after all the basic topics have been covered, have some special topics for you. When you get onto the dais, the students themselves need to make a pin drop silence wherein you don't have to force them to make any noise, any silence there. So you can give them all that, I'm sorry, so all that they would need in just that small gap of 30% of the days that you're going to get on the dais. Rest of the time, you can facilitate them and adopt methods wherein the students are going to teach the students. Okay, this is where the 70-30 balance lies. So what are we going to really teach the students when you get onto the dais? What these days books does not have wherein the business really needs? How to sell a product, how to sell themselves in the global market, how to think, how to negotiate, how to face a failure. I repeat it, how to face a failure. Investing the money, finding their passion, making an impact, start the business. I'm repeating this sequence again, where the professor can really make a big difference. How to sell a product, how to sell their own self on a global market to earn a job, how to think, how to negotiate, how to face the failure, how to invest money, how to find their passion and follow it, how to make an impact, how to start a business. This is where you can really make a difference on a student's life. So this is where the 70-30 lies. So whatever is in the book, whatever the students can learn by themselves, wherever the audio visuals are already available, wherever you feel that the students will excel more by seeing into a YouTube or seeing into a Google, because Google, YouTube, Facebook, the Instas, WhatsApp, the TikToks, whatever you call it, these cannot be separated from these days' life. Instead of going and telling them, you have to take out something from your life, tell them you are going to add what you like for the betterment of your own life. When you just go and pull out an eatable from a child's hand, the child will cry. But when you say that, instead of eating this junk food, why don't you eat the same, maybe a potato chips, why don't you eat this potato raw? Just replace it. We are going to change what they have with what they can do with those media and with those telecommunication, with those information available on the YouTube, with those information available on the telecommunication tools. So the 70-30 balance again is putting the students responsible for studying, putting the students responsible for their own career, putting the students responsible for their own classes to happen properly. And you be a facilitator and take them to a global world, give them a vision, give them a career where their career vision, where they are going to visualize what they are really going to become in future. So my concept here is make them responsible. They like responsibility. The brain is plastic. It always wants to learn something from the environment. Exploit them in a right way. Give them information where they are going to really get into business and they are going to make it happen for themselves, rather than we going behind them and telling them. There is a saying for a mother that I tell who are coming for counseling to me. You advise a child, it doesn't listen to it. It leads the life seeing what a parent says. A father says, don't watch TV. A mother says, don't watch TV. The child will not listen. Because the whole environment where the child is brought up is all with TVs and mobiles. Father will sit for the breakfast with the mobile, fiddling with the mobile, and he'll keep eating. The child will also follow it. When you tell the child, don't use your mobile phones, don't use your TV, when they are getting into a student of a teenager, the adolescent, you tell them, they don't listen. You follow it, they listen. The same thing, what I would want to tell here, don't advise them, don't go behind them, lead them. You be the model, and you step out and give them the stage and see what wonders that they are making in their life. So I keep this aside, and I would want to give a personal note to the professors here. I'm a follower of whatever I preach is something that I follow. And if I haven't done that, I wouldn't do it, preach to others, because I'm not a person who gets convinced by a bookish idea. I want to do it myself, experience it myself, only then I do it. Always fill your cup with happiness. When I say your cup, it is personally your cup. When you come into the college in the morning, if you come in with a lot of problems, you will deliver what you have in your cup. Do a physical activity for yourself. Fill your cup. Because everybody in this world loves appreciation. When a child is sleeping, when a baby of about 1 year or 2 years is sleeping for 2-3 hours continuously, we go and praise the child. Wow, you slept for 2 hours? But when they grow into an adolescent, if a boy or a girl, or and when they grow into an adulthood, a man or a woman sleeps for 2 hours during the day, we don't get that appreciation. We need appreciation to continue our life. So how are we going to fill our cup? Let's do some physical activity. When you are doing some physical activity, either go for a walk, or go for a jog, or a cycling, or just go out and buy some milk or some groceries in the morning. Have it a habit for every day to just get out and breathe some good oxygen. What this does to ourselves is, I still have 3-4 minutes, so I'm just using that. So what this does is this secretes dopamine, serotonin. These are the chemicals that it secretes in our brain. So this dopamine is something that excites our adrenaline. So when you're excited by your adrenaline, whatever might be the situation, you're driving to the college and somebody comes, passes by you and bypasses the signal or tries to dash with you, you will still go and question them, but not in the way that you manhandle them. Rather, you will just put it in a way that really reaches the other person. Fill your cup with a lot of happiness. Fill yourself, your personal life, with a lot of happiness. It is not something that you can take away the problems that you have in your life. Rather, do a physical activity once in a day. Do something for your own self. You are important for your own self. If you start following this, your child will start following it. When your child can follow it, when there will be students in your area who will be listening to it, or this information will somehow come and fall into your lectures, and the students who are following you will know that my professor goes for a walk in the morning, and that is why he is so happy in the morning, and he's able to deliver things happily in the college. So this is something that you can teach your students and keep their morale and the mental energy level always high, which is going to replicate in their real life, and they are going to bring balance in their life. Because after coming out of the school, there is no physical activity for the students. Not only the students, also for the adulthood, the age old. Rather, if at all we decide something and we get out and do some physical activity, there is no importance for physical activity until a lifestyle disease like diabetes or a blood pressure comes and hits us. So before that, let us all come back and reiterate our life and put ourselves in the middle of their life and think about that we need to do something for ourselves so that everybody around us will take care of their own self. And this is going to make a positive impact on everybody's life. So I end the session with a note again, the 70-30 proposition. So always put the students in the front and lead the line. And this is something that will put the students into a primary task, and they will start taking ownership rather than making fun of the rest of the group or making fun of the professor who is already standing there and taking through the class. You have to make them feel the importance. We cannot tell them the importance because they are not going to listen, but the visual media is so powerful. Anything that you show them that really impacts them. You put them on the stage and let all others see through that. And when a student is making fun of the other student, he will know that that is going to come back to me. So I have to listen here, and I have to lead the classroom with a lot of positive energy, and we are in a learning process to get onto the next stage. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much, DBJain College and Mrs. Narmadha A and rest of all the staff members here present, and the management. Not to miss them, they have given me this opportunity. Thank you so much. And I will leave the session open for the question and answer.
Thank you, ma'am. That was very interesting and informative. Now, Dr. Narmadha ma'am will read out the queries from the chat box.
Thank you, Blessing. Thank you so much for your wonderful speech, ma'am. Nowadays, we face a lot of struggle to handle the teenagers. Now we have a lot of tips to control our students, and also we have a scope to give a responsible citizen for our society. Now, I would like to consolidate our participants' queries from the chat window. The first question from Professor Nisha. Nowadays, the first year students are entering into the college with many distractions. They are deviated more. How to motivate the first year students and make them as an achiever?
That's a very good question, and that's a very interesting question for me. That is again boiling back to the same information I gave you minutes before. Make them into smaller groups. If you have students of volume of 50, you put them as 50. They are 50 different heads. If you make them smaller groups, you make them a group of about five students or 8 students in a batch, they become responsible for one work. So their distraction automatically goes and they come back to the situation of where learning really has to happen, because they are responsible for presenting on the dais the next morning. They have to score their rest of the counterparts. So make them responsible for something. Then you can somebody go on mute? There's a noise. Okay. So make them responsible. The responsibility will really give you a lot of freedom in terms of teaching. You can concentrate on teaching and they can concentrate on understanding the concepts.
Thank you, ma'am. The next question, what was the advice to the parent of teenagers?
That's a nice question. Advice to the parent of the teenagers. When you get onto a parent-teachers meeting or a parent-professor meeting, you can give them all positive information. Find them based on the Howard Gardner's principle. You can find out what the student is very smart at, and you can give the parent the information on your daughter or your son is so good at number smart, and if you start focusing his career on this area, he will be able to shine better. When you start focusing on what is productive, this is very helpful for the parents to take their children, to take their boys or the girls to the next level. So this is the advice that I would give.
Thank you, ma'am. Now another question from Professor K. Saravanan. Nowadays, the media encourage youngsters to play rummy and mobile premier luggage. What you have to do?
Yes, they're born with the mobiles and laptops. Media is definitely encouraging, and this is again, I already gave a solution for this, which is lead by example. And this boils down to the earlier question as well. When the parents are coming to meet you, give them the information that they have to lead by example. The change has to happen at the parents' level, at the professors' level. If the student who is playing rummy or something, if they see the professor playing in the college or they're playing outside, because the world is so small, they can just meet up in a coffee shop or somewhere, or the personal environment, the family environment, their elder brother or the father or the mother is very happy to play, or their friends are very happy to play. Try to make changes on the environment rather than telling the student directly, because telling them, taking out of rummy from their hands is not going to help you, because they are going to get really irritated and they're going to behave badly with you. Rather, just put them responsible may try to make changes on their environment. Tell their parents not to give them that environment. They have to change at the parents' level. They just try to see what their friends are doing. What is their circle of friends? Put them in. If the current group is very accommodated, wherein the group that you formed of 8 student or the 5 student, they are becoming very close to each other. Split the group. Make a change. Change is the only constant. Make a change and pull them out and put it in a different group. And if you start putting them with a different kind of students, if they have an interaction outside, they will not put their concentration on their mobiles or playing into any games. If you give them a real-time experience where they are really going to invest their time and they are going to really put their mind will get tired. There is only about 1.5 to 2 hours of the time in a day that a student can really spend productive. If they are not spending that productive on the education, they will start spending it on the games. So if we start focusing, exploiting their energy at this level, the brain will be tired. It will not look for recreation.
Thank you, ma'am. The another question: how to handle the adolescent kids at home?
Very nice question. Adolescent kids at home. I handle an adolescent at home. At times I get a question, why don't you do it? That's the question my son asked. I was never a swimmer until I was 34. My son asked me, I was telling him that you have to change your strokes. And this is something I have given in a couple of my interviews as well. If you Google out my name, you will get some interviews. You can just have a look at it. My adolescent said, I told him that, why did you change your strokes, swimming strokes? This is not right. This will not take you longer. You will slow down. He immediately said, why don't you try and do it? It is so painful. Why don't you try? And I said, I will try it along with you. I will get down. I will not, age is just a number. I will get down. I will get to your stage and I will learn swimming. And these days we swim together. And we don't miss our family time, wherein we discuss about our homeworks in the pool. When we are swimming together and when we are resting at the 1 or 2 minutes in between the breaks, we discuss each other. When I want my son to swim for 3 kilometers at one shot, I don't tell him anything. I start swimming. He loves to touch my legs while I'm swimming, and he comes touching my legs every single stroke. For him, it is only touching the legs. For me, he's swimming 3 kilometers. So this is the advice that I would give.
Thank you, ma'am. How to handle the pressure of the parent and relatives getting into the good job?
Sorry, I didn't get the question right. Could you repeat?
How to handle the pressure of the parent and the relatives in getting into a good job?
The answer is again in the same presentation that we gave. So then making a student sit and listen to a lecture right from the day one they get inside the college, make them responsible, give them opportunities to learn, teach them, I'm reiterating few sentences here, teach them how to sell a product, how to sell themselves in the global market, how to think, how to negotiate, how to face a failure, how to face a success. I'm repeating, how to face a success, how to invest their money. These days, we earn a lot of money, but we don't know how to invest. We just invest it on their clothes. We just invest it on some KFCs and McDs. We just spend our money wherever. This is where we invest. But these are not return-based investments. So rather, we have to teach them how to invest, how to follow their passion, how to find their passion in the first place, how to make an impact, how to make a business smart child, business smart student.
This is the last question, ma'am. While taking lecture, distraction by the student, how to control our emotion?
Very nice. And again, the answer is in my presentation itself. You don't get on the dais. You don't get on the dais. The students should long for you to get on the dais. When am I going to see my professor on the dais? What are they going to teach me? You have to make that longingness. For example, you most of you have your kids. You keep feeding them. They say, no, Amma, no, Appa, no, I don't want to eat. Rather, you go for a long drive and come back. You don't give them anything to eat for about 10 hours. You come inside and just give them a rasam sadam. They will just grab it and eat it. That's what I wanted to do. Don't get on the dais until you feel an importance that you have to get on the dais and deliver the note. Give them more opportunity for them to get on the dais and for them to practice and for them to deliver than sitting and reading for 10 times and replicating it on a paper. They reading, realizing, demonstrating with their counterparts, making a presentation, writing it on a paper. This is something gives them a lot of information than sitting and reading. So give them a lot of exposure, make them responsible for what they're doing. Then you get onto the stage. Only to sum up. When you start getting onto the stage to sum up, they'll listen keenly. They will put all their efforts to understand whether what they have gone through currently is right. And at the end of the session, you give them a scoring and tell them that this team A has scored this much for their presentation, this much for their audiovisual skills, this much for their musical skills that they have incorporated on the slides. This is where you're getting along. This is where you get onto the stage. And this is where the students will start acknowledging you.
Thank you for answering all our questions patiently, ma'am. I request Professor R. Shalini to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Blessy. Good evening, one and all. I regard it as an honor and privilege to propose vote of thanks on this occasion. On behalf of Department of Management Studies, DBJain College, I would like to extend my profound gratitude to our management team members, President Sri Dayachan Savanshuka, Secretary Administration, Dr. Harishal Mehta, Secretary Finance and Academic, Jashwant Munot, for their constant support during tenure of the webinar. I express my sincere thanks to the Iron Lady, Ishwari Andiappan, for her excellent coverage on handling an adolescent's brain. The students are the future pillar of our nation. As a teacher, our responsibility is to mold and bring out the best in them. As our speaker suggests, the transmission from standard teaching to smart way of teaching, as well as students-professor balance, that is 70/30 method, could be implemented in our field to render students a holistic way of learning. Your presentation was insightful and informative one, ma'am. I also wish to express my gratitude to our principal, Senthil Raj, professor in charge, Shaktivel Murugan, and head of the department, Dr. Narmadha, for their cooperation and guidance in organizing this event. Thanking all the participants for your active participation and making the event a grand success. Once again, thanking one and all. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. I thank everyone for their valuable time spent with us. The feedback link will be shared in the chat box and WhatsApp group, and the link will be active only for 10 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.